I'm Mary Burke, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our second annual Philanthropy in Action event, a celebration of the profound impact of you, our generous donors, and what you do for Temple University. Your gifts to Temple support our students, our faculty, our research, and help build this campus. The impact of your giving becomes part of the fabric of the university, both its history and its future. We're grateful for the opportunity to simply say thank you tonight. By dedicating your philanthropy to Temple, you also have this amazing ripple effect. The student your scholarship supports graduates and goes off into the world to become a prosecutor, or a public school teacher, or an emergency room doctor, or an entrepreneur. The faculty member you fund makes a breakthrough in their research that leads to a cure for a disease, or a solution to river pollution, or inspires a PhD student who becomes a Nobel Prize winner. The immediate impact of your gifts is like the tip of an iceberg. Its full scale is not immediately seen. Great things are possible when individuals like you believe in the power of education and research to transform lives and transform communities. And that's why we launched the Made for More Scholarship Initiative last spring. The core of our mission, of why we're all here together tonight, is our students. And Temple students are most definitely made for more. With the Made for More Scholarship Initiative, we aim to raise $125 million in new endowed and term scholarship funds over the next 3 years. We want to assure that no student accepted to Temple is forced to go somewhere else because of money, and that no Temple student has to leave school because of financial stress. Let's turn our attention to the screens around the room for some better perspective.
For many students wishing to attend Temple, it isn't a lack of drive or ambition that holds them back. It is the inability to overcome financial barriers. The Made for More Scholarship Initiative is working to break down these barriers, creating greater access and opportunity for more aspiring leaders and changemakers.
There are very, very many people that are talented, that are gifted, that have drive, determination, but may not necessarily have the financial means to advance their educational goals. Without scholarships, a lot of that talent would be lost.
My scholarship has really changed my opportunity. I actually had an opportunity to go to New Hampshire with Klein to report on the New Hampshire primaries for the election for 2024. So just that scholarship in general gave me and afforded me the opportunity to do cool things like that.
Law school is a big investment, both of time, energy, and money for people. And a lot of people come to law school with these big dreams of how they're going to change the world with their law degree, and then that changes really quickly because they're concerned about how they'll pay off their loans as quickly as possible. So I've both had more freedom to be able to focus on my studies and my experiential opportunities and my well-being rather than trying to find outside jobs. It fundamentally changed how I was able to approach both my studies and my experiential work.
I'm a first-generation student, so I really wanted to pursue a degree and make my parents proud. Working through school can be enough as it is, so getting the scholarship allowed me to really focus more on being a student and living as a student.
Opportunity is emblematic of this institution and how it was founded and what it stands for. Irene and I together have 6 degrees from Temple. None of this would have been possible without Temple. So I get choked up. But I have to say, it is very passionate for us.
Made for More is special for a lot of reasons, one of which is Temple's ability to provide a matching component. Gifts are partially matched, making a donation even more impactful for years to come. All scholarship gifts of $50,000 or more that establish new endowed scholarships have the ability to be matched and extend their support.
If my donor for the scholarship was here today, I would definitely just want them to know how grateful I am, because this is just such a great opportunity that allows me to pursue my interests without having to worry about financial burden. and just opened the doors for more opportunities for me.
I would just hug them first. I would really hug them, and I would make sure that they know that what they're doing and what they're offering students is such a great opportunity to continue in higher education.
Students who receive scholarships through Made for More will be supported throughout the entire journey, allowing them to stay focused on their education and college experience and helping them cross the finish line until they are truly Temple made.
I do want to give a shout out to Dr. John Duda, who appeared in the video at the beginning of that, who's here with us tonight. Thank you, John, for your participation in that. It is now my honor to introduce Temple's president, Richard M. Englert. I can think of no better person to speak to the transformative power of philanthropy this evening than President Englert. Dr. Englert came to Temple in 1976 as an assistant to the Dean of the College of Education. In the years since, he has served many roles, including Dean of the College of Education, Chief of Staff to the late President Leocoris, Acting Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Provost, and for the third time, as Temple's president. He exemplifies leadership and is a consummate advocate for Temple and its mission of access. He has also served as a model philanthropist. He and his wife, Ellie, make personal gifts to programs and scholarship funds across the university, from women's volleyball to the Kornberg School of Dentistry, the Daily Scholarship Fund at the School of Medicine to Temple Hillel, from the Boyer College of Music and Dance to the Hospital Emergency Fund, and many others. In 2016, they established the Otto and Della Englert Endowed Scholarship Fund in the College of Education and Human Development in honor of Dr. Englert's parents. The Otto and Della Englert Scholarship Fund now has 10 student recipients, including 4 this year alone. Everything these students accomplish here and beyond will serve as a tribute to Otto and Della and to your vision. Thank you, President Englert, for all that you do for Temple University. It is always an honor and a pleasure to share the podium with you. Please welcome Dr. Richard M. Englert, President of Temple University.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for being here. And I want to give a shout out to Mary Burke, our outstanding Vice President for Institutional Advancement. Mary, thank you for your leadership and for all you do. Let's thank Mary. It's truly an honor to be with you this evening. And I want to thank you, all of you, for your really incredible philanthropy and your dedication and your commitment to Temple University and our wonderful mission. I want to take just a moment and thank and acknowledge Board of Trustee members who are here, members of the University Board of Trustees. I want to say to our Board of Trustees members that your time, your devotion, your philanthropy, your passion for Temple, all of these are some of the greatest assets of our university. So I want to thank our Board of Trustees for all they do. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Gianna Durso-Finley. She's from the Charlotte Newcomb Foundation. She'll be introduced in just a second, or a few minutes. But I just want to say, Doctor, we are all so grateful for all you do for Temple University and literally for the nation and the world. The foundation is truly amazing. And let me also mention that you will hear tonight from one of our faculty members, Dr. Ann Lundquist. We're proud of our outstanding faculty. We truly have a fantastic faculty that just does amazing work all across the university, and Dr. Lundquist is certainly one of them. So you'll get a treat tonight hearing from her. We gather here on campus, and as we are on campus, we look around the campus and we are reminded of how important a role philanthropy plays in shaping this great university. In fact, I want to mention that Minton Hall was constructed in 1931, and it was due to the generosity of employees of the then called Philadelphia Rapid Transit Company and the Yellow Cab companies. And I say that because they wanted to honor their president, Thomas Minton, and they pooled their money together to make a donation to Temple University to name this building after him. And I say that's an amazing story of Temple University. Employees pooling money together to honor someone. So I think that is, the fact that we're in this building is so just absolutely captures the spirit of Temple University. And of course, right next to us is Paulette Walk, and the Paulette Walk is named after Dan Paulette, who just recently passed away, a former chair of our Board of Trustees and also chair of our Health Board, but again, philanthropy. And just steps away from us is the intersection of Paulette Walk, Leocoris Walk, O'Connor Plaza, and Charles Library. All of those named after people who were fantastic in their philanthropy and service to Temple University. So you walk around campus, philanthropy hits you everywhere. But philanthropy affects far more than just physical buildings. To all of our amazing donors here tonight, and to all of our fantastic donors, your contributions are truly investments. Investments in the dreams, investments in the aspirations of countless individuals, people who truly strive to make a difference in this world. Your investments truly inspire and empower our entire community of owls to dream bigger and to fly higher. Your investments not only ensure the affordability for students, but also they help to recruit and retain our stellar faculty members. Your investments fund important research. They welcome the next generation of healthcare innovators. They foster wellness, and they secure a more prosperous shared future for Philadelphia and beyond. This past year, thanks to Mary and her team and all of you, we had our 5th consecutive year of more than $100 million raised, and some $24 million was for scholarships. So, indeed, this is for all of you. Thank you. That applause is for all of you. Truly teamwork. Our students need this philanthropy. They truly need this philanthropy. For many of our owls and potential owls, it isn't a lack of drive or a lack of ambition that holds them back. For way too many, financial barriers stand in their way. And as you know, as you just heard, we launched our scholarship initiative, Made for More, and this initiative is rooted in the underlying belief that our students have the potential to be trailblazing leaders of tomorrow. But they need our support. When you support Temple, you create pathways for our future leaders and change makers. Through initiatives like Made for More, and with your help, we can continue to lay the foundation for bright young minds to make their marks on the world. We want everyone who is accepted to Temple to be able to attend Temple. And not just attend Temple, but to graduate in 4 years or fewer. Very much so. By making a Temple education more affordable, we can close a very real financial gap for many students and families. Together, we can empower students and create a better future that starts and resonates far beyond the buildings of Temple University. Your presence here means everything. I just want to thank all of you. From the bottom of my heart. I've been at Temple University now almost 49 years come January, and I know firsthand how your philanthropy truly makes a difference in the lives of our students. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen students who've come here and said only because of the generosity of others that they can attend Temple, and then they thrive, and they truly fly higher. So I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of the entire Temple University community, thank you for what you do. Thank you for everything. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being part of the Temple University family. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, President Englert. Under your tenure as president, Temple has strengthened its commitment to access and affordability through a variety of initiatives and programs. As you all know, this is Dr. Englert's final homecoming week as president, but don't worry, he's not going anywhere. Our very wise President-elect John Fry has convinced Dr. Englert to stay on as Temple's chancellor. No one has more Temple spirit or cares more for our university than President Englert. Please join me in thanking him for his decades-long commitment to our university. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Gianna Durso-Finley. Since 2016, Dr. Durso-Finley has served as the executive director of the Charlotte W. Newcomb Foundation, a private foundation in Princeton, New Jersey that supports higher education access through scholarships and fellowships. Prior to her role there, she served as professor of sociology, assistant dean for the honors program, and director of institutional research and assessment at Mercer County Community College. The Newcomb Foundation has a deep and long-standing philanthropic relationship with Temple and created an endowed scholarship to provide support for Temple students for generations to come. It has also provided more than $1 million in scholarship funds for Temple students with disabilities. Temple prioritizes the right for people of all abilities to fully participate in the university's programs, resources, and services, and works to ensure that students have an equitable experience across Temple campuses. Dr. Durso-Finley and the Newcomb Foundation are fully committed to Temple's mission of providing access to an excellent, affordable higher education that prepares students for careers, further learning, and active citizenship, and to creating a collaborative community of outstanding faculty and staff who foster inclusion and encourage the aspirations of all Temple students. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Durso-Finley.
Always. Thank you so much, Mary. On behalf of the trustees of the Newcomb Foundation, it is my honor and pleasure to be with you here tonight. President Englert mentioned barriers to student success, and Charlotte Newcomb was not able to attend college herself due to a visual impairment. But she valued higher education, and upon her death, in her will, left money, half of her estate, to create the Charlotte W. Newcomb Foundation with the mission of supporting student scholarships. Since the Newcomb Foundation began granting in 1981, the foundation has helped to support over 50,000 student scholarships, $75 million, at over 120 different institutions. If that isn't a testament to the empowerment of philanthropy, I don't know what else is. More specifically, when the trustees and original executive director team set up the foundation, an OG, an original grantee for 43 years and counting, was Temple University. And over those 43 years, the Newcomb Foundation has helped to support over 2,700 scholarships at Temple. $2.2 million to help students overcome those financial challenges that we don't want to impede our powerful owls. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ann Lundquist. Dr. Lundquist is the director of the Hope Center for Basic Needs and an assistant professor in the Department of Urban Health and Population Science at the Lewis Katz School of Medicine. Dr. Lundquist has previously served as the assistant vice president for campus strategy at Anthology, the director of assessment and strategic planning at Western Michigan. So we're assessment director twins there, Ann, I like it. As well as senior student affairs officer at 4 colleges. She's the co-editor of Reframing Assessment to Center Equity, Theories, Models, and Practices, and she holds an MFA in creative writing and a PhD in educational leadership from Western Michigan University. The Hope Center is an action-oriented research, policy, and capacity-building center that removes barriers to college student success and well-being, and helps us to envision a world where basic needs insecurity is no longer a barrier to pursuing and completing a college degree. As a sociologist, I absolutely understand how basic needs security is a social determinant of health, and the lack of security hampers post-secondary student success, inhibits social mobility, and deepens existing inequities. Hope Center is working to change that. In partnership with hundreds of colleges, agencies, and social change agents, Hope takes a systems change approach to co-creating a higher ed landscape where educational opportunity is universal and equitable. Hope has weighed in on more than a dozen pieces of congressional legislation, advanced new federal investment in student basic needs, focused media attention to basic need policy, and informed several major federal regulatory efforts. Dr. Lundquist is here to speak to us about the role of basic needs security in college student success and the impact of philanthropy on research, policy, and student education. I could not be more honored and pleased. Dr. Lundquist shared her expertise at the Newcomb Conference last fall, and we've actually tapped her again to speak at our Newcomb Distinguished Lecture next week. So this is a wonderful sneak preview for me. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lundquist.
Thank you, Gianna, President Engler. It's such a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be in the presence of individuals who recognize the transformative power of education and have chosen to be the philanthropic agents of positive change. And many thanks to Gianna for that introduction. But I wanted to say a couple more things about myself as a college student by way of introduction and context. In 1982, with resources that my parents had saved, my summer jobs, my campus role as an RA, and a scholarship, I left undergrad debt-free. And later, I was also able to continue to work and take out minimal loans and get my MFA and my PhD. I did that through a lot of hard work and academic talent, but it was also possible for me in part because I'm a third-generation college student. That's my grandpa Lefty with the basketball hoop there at Western Michigan University in the 1920s, where he met my grandmother Esther. He was the captain of the track and the basketball team, and my father, David Lundquist, who went to University of Michigan and was a football Hall of Famer and then to Duke Law School. And so I'm the beneficiary not only of their familial love and support, but of the privilege of being raised middle class in a time when our families' resources matched the cost of attending college. And my children, Drew and Chelsea, and their children, Rowan, Kit, and Mira Jane, continue to benefit, but even they, at this point, are feeling the pinch of the widening gap. And my story, as we will discuss, is generally not true for today's college students. I'm grateful to serve as the director of the Hope Center, where, as Gianna mentioned, we are, with amazing colleagues, focusing on research, policy, and practice to identify barriers to student success. And as we all know, and as has been mentioned many times already this evening, creating the conditions that foster student success has never been more important in higher education. And many of you have generously contributed to the programs and spaces on campus that make that possible for Temple students. But students will tell us that succeeding in college today is extraordinarily difficult, not because they aren't motivated, as President Engler mentioned, but because the system and the circumstances in which they are attending college can present barriers that make enrollment and completion almost impossible for many students. In today's higher education context, we talk about those barriers as basic or essential needs. In order to learn and thrive, students need regular and nutritious food and safe drinking water, safe and secure housing, mental and physical well-being, reliable technology and transportation, and more. That seems obvious, but this is not true for so many students. Sometimes it helps to think about this from a Maslow's hierarchy point of view. Those foundational physiological needs must be met for any of us in order for us to perform at our best. But the fact is that today's college students' basic needs are not being met. The Hope Center's recent survey revealed that 3 in 5 college students are experiencing some form of basic needs insecurity. 4.3 million students aren't getting enough to eat, and 1.5 million students are experiencing homelessness. And it goes beyond food and housing. Students don't have access to adequate technology or internet, have difficulty affording childcare, and are experiencing record rates of depression and anxiety. And as Gianna mentioned, the data also reveals that the distribution of these inequities is itself inequitable, impacting Black and Indigenous students, older students, parenting students, first-gen students, poor students, and LGBTQ students at much higher rates. And while all of this data is important, it is imperative that we remember that students are humans first, and their basic needs are the central conditions for their learning. So why is this the case? What has changed since I, and perhaps many of you, went to college? Well, first off, higher education institutions weren't created or designed for the students who now attend them. In 1642, when Harvard held its first commencement, its 9 graduates were all white, Christian, and male. And while most colleges have made great progress in improving their support for a diverse student body, the systems and structures, policies and procedures, and even the assumptions about who a student is and what they might need often can harken back to an earlier time. Today's students are older, and many of them are parenting. Half are the first in their family to attend college. They are racially diverse. Many students come from low-income families and therefore are incurring significant debt to attend college. Nearly 80% of students work, many of them full-time. And meanwhile, the rest of life continues to intervene. The economic reality that many of us are facing makes affording college almost impossible for many. So this overall cost of college has risen, and financial aid is often not covering the true cost of attendance for the majority of today's students. So parents and students borrow more, work more, and still it often isn't enough. What we think about now is that in higher education, we have to come to realize that basic needs, insecurity, is actually a structural characteristic, not an individual student deficit or their problem. Basic needs security means that there's an ecosystem of support in place to ensure that student basic needs are met. And addressing student basic needs insecurity is an institutional responsibility. And when colleges do this, there are many great things that happen, both for them and for students. Student academic performance goes up, leading to increased retention and degree completion. As people collaborate across the university, they reveal systemic barriers to learning and engagement, and they move forward together to dismantle them. Addressing student basic needs helps institutions remedy some of those historic systemic inequities, while at the same time supporting students in their own institution in their accreditation and compliance expectations. As universities listen to students and collect data about their experiences, this equips them to make change, which contributes to the overall positive transformation in our society and our culture. But that's enough about me talking at this moment. We're ready to hear a short video that we've prepared at the Hope Center directly from some students, many of whom are Temple alums, including one of our Hope Center employees, Raja Ahmad. You'll see her in the video. And this is just a short clip of a learning module that we use with colleges and universities who are actively addressing student needs. So let's play the video.
Let's take a look at basic needs first and why that is important and essential. Safety, security, and nutrition are what we basically think of. So just imagine a college student not having adequate nutrition, not knowing where they may live.
There are so many misconceptions about who students are. There's this image of the traditional student who's living on campus, who has a meal plan, who has parental resources. These narratives persist and they're damaging and they're incorrect, and we have to fight them. And I think that's the main thing we have to do from a policy perspective going forward, is change the narrative about who students are and what they're experiencing.
Moving to a city where the living expenses are significantly higher than they were in my town before made me kind of realize, what living on your own takes in regards to, expenses, all the things that we, put in that umbrella under basic needs.
Again, as a first-generation low-income Latina student, it was really hard to find resources that were either culturally competent to my background, but also accessible and inclusive. There's a lot of stigma when it comes to seeking out for help, and I think there's a huge role in institutions to help sort of normalize that help-seeking behavior.
I try not to tear up because I remember that I did not want to seek benefits when I was in college because I thought I had moved on from the welfare system. I felt shame because of society and how they put this shame on people who are beneficiaries of social benefit programs or the welfare system. I'm happy that we're talking about dignity, just demystifying in general what it means to seek these programs and benefits that are here to help them succeed at the end of the day.
I'll speak about my own experience. I had a full scholarship. However, I came here, no money for health insurance, no money for housing, no money for food, and all of those things are really expensive. And when I would try applying for grants, the answer I would get from the financial aid office was just that you're maxed out. We don't know what else we can give you. So making sure that you understand that not all students are coming from the same economic background, and not all students are going to require that same amount of help.
Today, we are more prepared and better prepared than ever to have this conversation about why we need to prioritize college student basic needs. There's a difference in their retention rates. There's less students that complete or graduate when they faced basic needs challenges compared to students who did not. And we know that there's a GPA difference by graduation of the students that experience basic needs challenges versus those that did not.
We as higher education administrators and those in the higher education space make sure that we address those needs for students that may be facing it.
So we've learned a lot about the problem, and in closing, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what some of the solutions are or the promising practices to address basic needs. So what we've learned nationally, what's happening out there. Well, first of all, colleges and universities are surveying their students, they're talking with their students, and they're finding out more about the disparate ways in which basic needs are impacting them. They're opening food pantries and centralizing basic needs centers and one-stop shops, which have been shown to dramatically increase retention and graduation. And they're offering emergency aid to fill short-term gaps while also providing case management support to remove barriers. They're ramping up their mental health services and support. They're connecting students to public benefits and helping them navigate those bureaucracies. And they're leveraging data to conduct outreach and build awareness of those benefits for which students may be eligible and connect them to those services. And many of our students that we've surveyed, they just aren't aware of those resources when they do exist, or they may feel that they're not eligible. And so there's a lot of work to be done in the communication side. So what are we doing right here at Temple? We all know that Temple's aspiration is to be the most inclusive and innovative urban public comprehensive university. And one of the strategic goals around boundless access means that we're paying attention to the changing environment and the student needs. One example of this is the partnership between the Hope Center and Temple Student Affairs and their basic needs. They used our survey from the Hope Center and found that 36% of Temple students are food insecure. And thanks to the dedication of staff, including Annette DiTovolo in the back here, and the generosity of donors, the Barnett Irvine Cherry Pantry is doing something about that, with over 9,000 visits last year. But I know that Dr. Vice President Bailey and Dean of Students Rachel Stark envision one of those research-based best practices right here at Temple in the Howard Giddes Student Center, a basic needs hub where students can receive wraparound support services. And in the Hope Center's home, the Lewis Katz School of Medicine, the Inspiring Excellence strategic plan prioritizes improving safety and health and wellness and has set goals to attract and support diverse students. Dean Amy Goldberg's vision for supporting students is big and bold, and for every bright, passionate student who wants to learn purpose-driven medicine at Temple, it's fundamental to our mission to ensure that they can. And under her leadership, student indebtedness is down, and generous donations have made possible 66 new endowed scholarships since 2017. A new Tuttleman Counseling Services location, as well as a Barnett Irvine Cherry Pantry location, were opened on the Health Science campus. And the Office of Student Support provides a myriad of services for students, including emergency aid. And finally, at Hope, we're continuing with our research and policy and practice. Just one or two examples of our research includes building knowledge and support about basic needs for STEM students through National Science Foundation Research Hub, and looking at how transportation might impact academic achievement. As Gianna mentioned, our policy work informs federal and state legislation, and we're deeply involved with the Department of Education, the White House, and legislators on the expansion of federal financial aid, student loan relief, and college affordability. And through our Hope Impact partnerships, we enroll hundreds of colleges across the nation to field our basic needs survey, receive data in a dashboard, and work with us on action planning on their campus. Our work in the last few years has impacted over 2 million students, and we're guiding state policy and coalition building across the nation. Looking ahead, we want to keep building on what we're learning and partnering to expand our work. We have a wish list. Nationally, when people want to learn more about student basic needs, they turn to the Hope Center at Temple, and we want to be able to keep responding and growing and learning. We envision a landscape where educational opportunity is universal and equitable, and we're co-creating a world where basic needs insecurity is no longer a barrier to pursuing and completing college. Our goal at Temple is to make sure that students are not held back by any type of barriers so that their main focus can be on their education. At the Hope Center, we thank you for all that you do that contributes to student success, and hope you'll join us in this vision of a world where every student can succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you, Gianna and Dr. Englert. We're proud to be the home of such important work and the visionaries who are working to create a world where basic needs and security is no longer a barrier to pursuing and completing a higher education degree. Much of the work at Temple University would not be possible without the many donors, supporters, and champions whose generosity fuels the progress of our students, faculty, researchers, and staff. Thank you for joining us tonight as we kick off Homecoming and Family Weekend, and for all that you do for Temple. Please stay and enjoy each other's company. Thank you. Go Owls!